It's hard to ignore the heavy, persistent exhaustion hanging over so many of us today. The writer Henry David Thoreau observed long ago that most people lead lives of quiet desperation. Look closely, and you see the physical toll of that desperation. Connective tissue hardens and bones turn brittle as we sit locked in place. For millions, the only daily physical exertion is a pair of thumbs, endlessly doom-scrolling across a glowing piece of glass. In many ancient shamanic societies, healers approached a disheartened or depressed individual entirely differently than we do. A traditional medicine worker would never ask if you paid your taxes, how your 401k is performing, or whether you received your latest medical treatments. Instead, as dancer Gabrielle Roth noted, they relied on 4 very specific physical questions. When did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? And when did you find comfort in the sweet territory of silence? This widespread loss of physical and creative vitality creates a void. When we stop dancing and singing, we become malleable, perfectly primed to inhabit a highly scripted system that replaces our natural enchantment with a manufactured sense of purpose. Researchers and psychonauts often refer to this architecture as the matrix control system, or a predatory dragon. It operates as a highly conscious farming technique. This system lacks its own life force. To sustain itself, it requires a limitless external supply of emotional energy, harvested directly from the human population. The primary method of extraction relies on controlled chaos. Media algorithms and manufactured cultural arguments are deployed to keep everyone in a permanent state of agitation, feeling just slightly off-kilter at all times. This constant friction pulls our focus entirely upward, into our heads. It traps us in a loop of intellectual anxiety, completely severing the connection to our deeper spiritual and physical nature. By losing ourselves in these engineered arguments, we generate the exact powerful emotions required to fuel the very structure that cages us. This chart maps how attention is hijacked through mimetic desire. Normally, individual beliefs direct our focus, but the system injects artificial desires into our consciousness. Genuine beliefs are quickly overridden by rigid groupthink. This funnels collective attention into one massive hub, the energy farm. The reality for those trapped at the end of this chart is bleak. People become thrashing, masochistic puppets, manipulated from above by invisible emotional strings. The tragedy of this mechanism is that the system doesn't build the cage itself. It simply weaponizes humanity's powerfully creative psyche to construct a largely unconscious hell of its own making. While we try to think our way out of these traps, the system remains the author of the very logic we use. Real resistance often begins where logic ends, in the immediate physical reality of the body. The playwright Samuel Beckett understood the absurdity of trying to reason with systemic despair. His conclusion was blunt. When you are up to your neck in shit, all you can do is sing. Choreographer Martha Graham recognized that unscripted movement holds a power words lack. She called dance the hidden language of the soul. A society turning to stone in front of screens relies on an intelligence that is increasingly artificial. True human vitality requires an expression that is totally unique to the individual, existing only in a specific, lived moment. Engaging in that spontaneous, physical movement is the literal mechanism required to snap the system's emotional strings. You have to move your body to starve the farm. The system maintains its grip through the threat of public judgment. Our greatest secret fear isn't public speaking. It's the paralyzing dread of looking ridiculous if we dare to move freely. Escaping requires learning to ignore the system's weapons of guilt and shame. As the authors of The Courage to be Disliked point out, transforming self-judgment into wise circumspection is the first step out the door. Paulo Coelho observed that the act of dancing demands a total presence that leaves no room for the system's favorite weapon, judgment. This is an alchemical process. We take the heavy, rational lead of an anxious, manipulated mind and expose it to the refiner's fire, cracking it open to reveal the profound gold of an active physical life. Stepping onto the dance floor of a mindfully chosen life acts as a disruption to the collective hum. By changing your own internal rhythm, you begin to align with a different song entirely.